Hello, welcome back. Welcome if it's your first time. I statistically have to say that or you'll stop watching the video right now. My hands are not bleeding that bad today, but we're going to go ahead and try to make 5 rats today. So we will see at the end of the process how we're looking. Do a hand bleeding update at the end of the day. I got my first rat here. Let's go ahead and just get right into this. I'm going to start off with a pretty simple lab rat. We're going to do a white rat here. And we're going to do the classic kind of mad scientist's white rat. Sometimes, the oldies are the goodies, so I just want to do a classic lab rat. Start yourself off with something easy, get the blood flowing. Get your day started. This is almost like my warm-up rat. And I am working on picking up speed here because I have been taking one of the last rats I did in real time. I don't know about in my video chronology, but one of the last rats I did just took me like easily over an hour, maybe closer to an hour and a half, and that just won't do. I love the rats, but I can't spend the whole day making rats, unfortunately. If only things could be so simple. So we're just going to kind of get a little bit picky here, and this is how it starts. I say I'm going to go quick, and then I start picking out little issues. And I like to, if you're following along with this channel, I kind of let the rats decide what they want to be. Just kind of look at that rat and identify, okay, this one they got a little bit of a chunky rat, and that's what I think we got here. So you can see I'm forming out a little bit of a chin there. And we're going to go ahead and... So he's got a double chin already right off the bat. So we'll just start with that. I'll smooth out what we have. Pulling very, very lightly here. You don't want to over pull on your rat chins. That's where a lot of people run into issues with making heavy set rats. They want to pull on the chin, and they pull the chin out of view. You just really want to soften the chin. So and you can always reshape that chin in a little bit if you want to, but you really mainly just want to kind of keep it to the natural contours of the rat. And you'll see, may not look that heavy set yet, but we'll get him there. We are going to get this one there. You're looking at the base structure right now of this rat. There you go. That's your base rat right there. I like my rats to sit sometimes like this, where they're kind of face staring, like it's staring right at my face right now. So this is what my customers will see hopefully every day. If they're smart enough to put that rat somewhere where they are every day, they'll have the pleasure of seeing this rat staring them in the face day in and day out. Whether that's at work, at home, at church, at their government office job. It could be anywhere. You could be a post office worker. Pop that right there, You could be anything. You could be a teacher. You could put one of these demon rats on your desk. I mean, they're not demons. I'm sorry. I was dealing with customer complaints yesterday. One of my customers sent a rat back because he or she thought that the rat had brought some dark energy into their home, and I, of course, batted that down instantly. These rats are nothing but joys to have around. So we're not going to allow anyone to besmirch our our products like that. So what we'll do is just kind of form the nose up. We're going to go smaller, maybe a smaller nose on this little lab rat here. And you can, you know, if a name is coming out to you, you can name the rat. I don't personally get into that, naming the rats, but, you know, some people do. We get a lot of customers saying that these rats are really, you know, some people were thinking about maybe getting a dog or, God forbid, getting a cat even. And they get one of these rats and just kind of changes the way they see the world, you know. And I don't mean in like any dark way. It's the rats are not demons. Again, I can't stress that enough. You'd be surprised how many people are saying the rats are dark, have dark energy, etc., etc. These rats are not in any way formed with dark energy. Okay, we'll go right to the rat nose here, and that looks like a little tiny rat nose. You see the rat kind of starting to form here. So follow the shapes, follow the contours that you got to imagine the contours, and then you can kind of work them in. And so you do see we still have the double chin on this rat, boom, right there. Well now, if you want to make that rat look a little more heavy set, and that is what we're doing, you can add an actual pair of cheeks on that bad boy, boom and boom. And depending on the location where you put that cheek, you're going to get a different effect. So if you go high, you're going to get kind of like you can make a smaller faced rat, which is always a good, if you're going for a big bone rat, that's always a good way to do it. Tiny little facial features kind of scrunched in there, if you will. I don't want these cheeks to be so strong that they're overwhelming you as you're looking the rat over. I don't want you to be shocked or anything by the size of the cheeks, so I'm gonna tone them down. I do want them to be noticeable though. I do want them to be like, oh wow, rats. So you do see the little bit of it's not overwhelming, but it's enough to, it is slightly alarming. Like you would want to know this rat's LDL levels. You would be concerned about this rat's triglycerides, cholesterol, things like that. You want, you know, you would say you're not there yet, but you know, you're working your way to a real bad health. And again, a lot of people, when I say things like that, they think, oh, the rats are you. You know, the rats represent what doctors have told you. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's just a coincidence. That's not what the rats are here for. So you're going to work that chin back to where, there you go. That's about it right there. So see, I'm folding this underlying chin up to meet this chin. You want to create lines and contours here. And again, I'm taking way too long on this rat, but you see, you see what you get when you spend that little bit of extra time rat building. A little bit of extra time on your base layer rat, and you'll get, your customers are going to be much happier with the results that they get on their end. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and give this rat a pretty, I'm going to say pretty substantial chin. Am I in focus? I think I'm in focus. I'm going to give this rat a pretty substantial chin. Because I want this chin to be, I want you to say, oh, that's the chin, when you see this chin. Oh, I thought the other two were the, no. Nope, those other two things we were working on were the double and triple of the chin. This is the actual rat chin we're now on. So the chin is going to be, the chin also will shape and impact you, and it will shape your opinion of this rat's health. So we could give it a pretty good chin there. Got to be real careful when shaping chins in. And I'm just very barely touching the clay here. I do understand that, you know, rat building is not for everybody, so if you're still watching and you're not interested in building rats, I would understand if you clicked away from the video. Just the one thing I'd like you to take away is I'm making perfectly normal, non-cursed rats, and that's really it. Rats are, not the monsters they're made out to be in the New York City media. Okay. So now you see we got a little bit of clay folding over here. We can't have that. You need to gently get all your line work in order here. We got a little bit right there, but I do have a trick for that I will come back to when it's time. Long-time viewers will know I am talking about just basic little bit of rubbing alcohol. Now yesterday I did start to preform some pink lips, and I did this very simply by mixing some of this pink paint, this is rose paint, with a little bit of this white, and this really is only going to work if you use the tiniest amount of clay, because otherwise it will take forever to dry. So today we have that finished. So what I'm going to do is just boom, drop that right in there. And you do not want this mixing with your other clay. So just lightly form it to where it's meeting your clay, very lightly. You don't want this mixing with your clay, because it will discolor what you're working with. But you do want it formed in there. You definitely don't want it to be unformed clay. And the less you work with this, the better. Because this will become an entire incident if you allow it to. And there you go. I just want it to be kind of a confused look on his face there. Okay, so that'll be the first rat. Obviously we're going to get the eyes in there real quick. So identify the eyes, where you want the eyes to be on this rat. What size, what shape eyes do you want on this rat? And I think, I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to give it oversized eyes. We're going to give this rat, get that, I see a little piece of hair. Any little piece of dust or fur, fuzz, fur, dog, animal fur, anything like that, you gotta get it away. You gotta get it out of here. It'll ruin the whole rat. Customers will not accept that. maybe the return policy shouldn't be so lax, but that's the next step if I keep getting these rats back. I think I'm going to make the eyes a little lower than I normally would here. Boom. And just find the eye and confidently place your eyes. Because if you're not confident about your eye placement, you're going to run into issues down the line big time. So I got a little bit of black clay left from yesterday, or whatever day you're chronologically seeing that black rat that I did. You want this to be one of the last steps because you're going to have to wash your hands if you're using this same clay. And this is Sculpey Bake Shop clay. Very pliable, very, very sticky. You see, I already got black clay all over me. So what we'll do is we're going to give this rat, like I said, pretty big eyes. And I just use my eye poker here. This is, I don't know if I'm in frame, this is my #1 tool that I do use for my rats. And I recommend you find anything even remotely similar to this if you're getting into the business, because it's really does pretty much everything you need. And that's not an exaggeration. You can do any rat related crafting with one of these. Okay. Now I do realize that eye is slightly bigger than the right eye. Looking at it is slightly bigger than the left eye, and this is where we'll get complaints about. Someone will complain about this. Whoever purchases this will not notice somehow, oh, I thought it was a regular looking rat, and then I'll get a complaint. The rat will not stop staring at me. The rat is causing a lot of chaos in the home. Well, you know, that's why we post pictures with these rats when we put them up for adoption. If you really examine the pictures, there's enough evidence to know what rat you're getting. So I am going to start enforcing a no returns for silly reasons policy. And silly reasons, again, being, and I can't stress it enough, there will be no chaos caused in your home. It will not destroy, the rats will not destroy your family. They will not do, they're just clay, people. So I don't know why I keep getting these complaints, but maybe I'll start a series just responding to my complaints. But that's not for now, that's just a sidebar. And I'll let you see the side of that rat and the other side of the rat. I'm going to come back and clean it up a little bit more and put the whiskers in there and the ears. But I have to go wash my hands. I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back with clean hands. I shaped up the sides a little bit off camera. Nothing you haven't seen in the front has been worked on, just the sides were a little bit off. We are going to give this rat gargantuan ears per capita for its body size. So what I always say about the ears is just all you want to do is your fingers are kind of going to make the ear shape what you need it to be without really even trying. So this one's already shaped. The trick is, how am I going to keep that shape when I apply it to the rat? That's the main issue that people have, and I'll show you. What I learned is you want the ears to remain thick. You do not want a thin ear on your rat, because it will collapse, it will not work. And if the ears don't form, which sometimes they don't, you can just do that. Now you got an ear, okay? So again, just press one side down a little bit. Boom. Now you see that? That's where we're attaching. That's where we're attaching. Get the ear off the table, however you got to do it. You can use an item to kind of, you can use a credit card, you can use something to slide under there. Do any work you need to do on the ear before you put it on the ear. And then simply take your ear, place it on your rat, find where you want it. You need a really solid base somewhere that ear is. So now you can see that we got a full-blown rat here. Okay. Do want to make sure that ear is fully on there though, because this is another one of those things customers love to. My rat's ear fell off, etc., etc. My rat's ear fell off. How many times a day do I have to deal with fallen rat ears? Well, I don't deal with it anymore, folks. I secure my rat's ears really well, so I know if you want to get the rat out of your house because you think it's possessed, you know, don't rip the ears off, because I already know. I can tell. I can tell a clean rip from a scam. And this is another part that will get you to that could drive you to the brink of insanity, depending on how you handle it. A lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, the rat's ears are." It's so hard to get the rat's ears to be a perfect match to each other, be symmetrical. Well, the trick is you don't have to do that. That's the whole trick of it. You just get them to where they. Looks good? Yes. Looks good? Yes. Now this one obviously needs a little bit more attention. You want the ear to fully be a part of the rat. You do not want the ear to not be fully attached. So work it in there. Now decide how you want your rat to sit. I want this one to sit slightly up, like that. Okay. I want it to angle a little bit more that way. And then, last but not least, you're going to add your whisker holes. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. And I have started adding larger whisker holes here. One, because I lost my needle. Yeah, I have a needle that's totally MIA, could be anywhere. But also I noticed that I was having to go back in every time and rework my nose holes. And that's really just not ideal for any crafter, be it rat or otherwise. Those are pretty good whisker holes, I would say. So there you go, first rat of the day right there. It's a little lab rat, and basic color scheme. We got the white, black, pink. I might even make a brown rat today, like Jerry. Classic rat, legendary rat, I would say. But for now, we got our very first rat of the day started. So we're in good shape already. I'm just going to gently rub that ear in, because I do not like the ears to be rough in any way. If I can help it, I want it to be a smooth rat. Okay, so I'll give you the side view on that, side view on that, and we will come back after this bad boy is out of the oven. Okay, so I'm back to paint this rat and do the whiskers, but I think what I'm going to do is get the paint on first, and then I will come back. I'm just going to do the paint and the slight customizations, and then I will come back for the whiskers, because I don't want to overdo it and have wet paints all over my rat. I have decided to start speeding this process up a little bit, like I said, by not waiting for the rats to dry and doing the whiskers in the same video. I don't want to make any errors like I did. A terrible error with that black rat from one of my previous videos. And right off the bat, you see I already got a little think I'm gonna go kind of just take it easy. I'm not gonna go super crazy with the ears or anything. Okay, and that's it for that rat. I think I'm going to come back and do the whiskers at a later time, and I will film that. So I will catch you on the flip. Okay, I'm sure there are plenty of people who can relate to this, but the feeling of chopping whiskers all day is tedious, and I'm beginning to despise cutting whiskers. I might get a whisker chopper, speed that whole process up. But for now, we're gonna just go ahead and work with what we got. Gonna drop that whisker in place, let it dry. A quick update, I did change my whisker hole punch to one of these types of, I don't know if these are meant to be dental tools or what, but I got them sold to me as clay tools, so. And the reason I did that was obviously because I lost my, long-time viewers will know, I lost my needle, my sewing needle. And it's still missing, so it could be anywhere. I am worried that I'm going to sit on it or step on it, but my love for rat crafting has yet again taken precedence over finding it. So that one I'm not. If I could get it to sit a little higher, that'd be better. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Okay. I like this rat. It's kind of got a little fat rat, little button eyes on there. If you've ever seen the David Bowie Lazarus music video, it's an interesting video. I believe he was diagnosed with a terminal illness and made the music video, and he knows he's dying, and he put little buttons on his eyes like that. So that's what this, I wasn't thinking that when I made the rat, but now looking back, that is what this rat is reminding me of. A very sad story to be sharing on my cheerful rat page, but David Bowie, great artist, we miss him dearly. And this rat, hopefully will, in some small way, ensure that his legacy endures. Oh, that's a crazy whisker right there. That's going a little bit wonky. That's okay. You gotta kind of accept, because these whiskers are gonna they have minds of their own, so you gotta kind of just accept what the whisker is gonna do. The whisker is gonna do what it wants to do. You wake up, you have a bad hair day. What do you think rats do? Okay, so this rat, give you profile views here, a front view. This rat may or may not be for sale. You can check and see if there's a shop link. I've been having a lot of customer complaints, but not only that, it's just hard for me to sell these rats. You know, I love them so much. You give them everything, your heart, soul, but may or may not be for sale. Check, you know, if you're interested, check below. And I don't know what a good price for a rat would be, so I think I might just put them at the price that I would be comfortable adopting them out for, but we will see if I have the heart to even put them out. Getting a little choked up. Okay, I will see you in the next video, and thank you for stopping in. Bye-bye now.